Hello everybody, it's been a little while since we've done a video, but it's Luther and Miranda here, and today we want to talk to you guys about getting up and walking. So a few weeks back we had family over. As you can see, we're kind of in our new house, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But we had some family over just kind of enjoying the day, and they had their little daughter with them, and she's just learning to walk. And it was really interesting watching her get up. She takes these kind of stumbly steps, and she's grabbing onto things, and she's a little wobbly. And sometimes she would fall, and mom and dad would look at her and say, okay, she's all right, we're not going to intervene, or sometimes they go pick her up, whatever. But the point was, they were allowing her to get up and try it herself. And it was kind of difficult. She's a baby, just learning how to walk, right? It was difficult for her, but she didn't quit. She kept, she'd fall, she'd get right back up. Mom and dad were there to encourage her, to support her. But the goal is that she would learn how to walk. And I see a lot of people in, just out in the world, and they haven't learned how to walk in the sense that life just happens to them. They're not pursuing anything. They're not going after anything. They haven't gotten up and walked out a vision or walked out a dream. Those who do, we celebrate. We celebrate actors, people who have achieved success in the marketplace, people who come up with the next big idea. These are people who have gotten up, pursued a dream, and it was difficult at first. They might have had some struggles along the way, but they didn't quit. They got up and walked. And so, we want to encourage everybody, because that's kind of what it took for us, right? Somebody had to come along and say, look, there's something in your life. God has called you to do something. He's put a vision inside you, a purpose inside you. Now you've got to walk it out. The ball's in your court. God will only bring you so far. He'll show you something, and then he expects you to take those steps. He cannot take them for you. You have anything you want to contribute?
Just like watching our niece when she was walking, and mom and dad would go over there and help her when she would fall, and like what they were saying, they would check to see if she hurt herself in any way or anything. But, before you know it, first they start walking and they're floppy and a little, just not quite sure what they're doing. And then before you know it, they start running, and then they enjoy it. They realize there's freedom in this, and they're having fun, and they start running, and then you cannot contain them once they start. Then they start getting into everything because they want to try this and they want to try that, something new. And it's kind of like that in life. I mean, it's okay if you get up and you start walking and you start trying something new, and maybe something doesn't quite work out the way you thought it would, or you shift it a little bit. But at least you're trying. At least you're doing something new. You're figuring things out, and you've got to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere at some point. And a lot of times things will hold us back or prevent us from stepping out. And we'll go into that in a minute.
So I guess basically what we're trying to say is you got to get started, right? So you've got this dream, you've got this vision, God's put something in your heart saying, I need to do this. You have to get up, you got to get started. Even if it's a small step, that's one step closer to your goal versus than just dreaming all the time. We see that too. We see a lot of people, I've got this dream, I've got that dream, I've got this dream, but they never take any steps towards it. They're waiting for the heavens to part and God to come down and drop it in their lap, and it doesn't work that way.
Some people too, I hear this a lot, and I was kind of in the same court. I was in the same thought is, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't even know what my dream is. I don't know what my purpose is. And a lot of people, they know they're here for something greater, and they want to do something greater, and they have a deep desire, and they're not content with where they're at, that's always a good place, because that tells you that you're not settling, which is good. God will stir you and keep you not content when he wants you to go a step out. So that's a good feeling, but it's frustrating when you don't know what it's supposed to be or what it's supposed to look like. Mm-hmm. We've been there, and that's actually how we started. We really didn't know exactly what it looked like. But what we did is we started to look around at kind of some of our surroundings. What are our passions? What do we enjoy to do? What are our gifts? What are our talents? And that was where we kind of started. We, you know, especially my husband has always had a passion for ministry, wanting to help people. And that's why we're here doing videos, because it's been something deep in his heart. And so something new is, you know, for us is doing videos. I've always enjoyed nutrition and health and learning about the body. So you can see here in my office, I have, I work with ladies working on health and nutrition. And it was just a demand that people started pulling on me. I started to recognize, okay, they're pulling on me, so God must be kind of putting me in that area, because people saw something on me that they wanted. And so you begin to look around at what's my gift and what's my talent. And sometimes we're so hurt from the past or disappointments that we can't even see that. And it's hard to even see for ourselves what we're good at you just get so lost that you can't even see. So even asking your family, people around you, what do you see me doing a lot? What do I talk about? What do you think some of my passions are? And starting there to get a dream, to get something to go after. And then if you start something and it doesn't work out, oh well. I mean, and it might be that it works out, but you just tweak it a little bit and you learn a skill. Find a skill you can learn.
Yeah. You know, I want to touch on that kind of. You know, when we got started with, okay, you know, we were in a place of dissatisfaction with just life as a whole. You know, things weren't really working out the way we wanted them to. We just knew there was more, but we didn't really know how to get it or where it was or, you know, what to do. We just kind of like, I know there's more out there, but I really don't know what to do about it. But once you sit down and we say, okay, what are our gifts? What are we talented at? What do we have to offer the world, as it were? And then, you know, what are we passionate about? What kind of things make us angry? What, you know, these kinds of things. And you start asking all these questions. And then, like Mandy said, you know, what are people pulling out of you? Because that's another clue. You know, if there's a consistent thing that people keep pulling out of you or trying to draw from you, that's a clue of what's in you. So we're looking at all this information and everything, and we're putting it all together. And even today, I don't think we have the whole picture, right? It's not totally clear, like, oh, that's it. But we're much, much closer. And the neat thing about taking steps is that with each step, it gets a little clearer, a little clearer, a little clearer. God really, He only shows you kind of what you can handle at that moment. Because if He were to show you everything, you'd just be like, whoa, there's no way I'm going to be capable of that. But if He just shows you a little bit, then it kind of stair steps you into your destiny. So that's I don't know, I'm probably going around the mountain here, but that's kind of how we got started. And so we just, okay, what's in front of us, what's being pulled on us, you know, what's the demand, and what are our gifts and talents, and let's use that to focus on what we believe we're called to do. And things do get tweaked and adjusted. There's some business things that we're trying to do, and already, just even from the conception stage to the implementation stage, we've had to tweak several things. You know, I was going to start a woodworking business. Well, I am starting a woodworking business. And our first thought was, we're going to have to go out in the community, we're going to have to rent a building, we're going to have to get a loan, buy machines, all this. And then God put us in touch with another businessman that we could bounce some ideas and questions off of, because this is all brand new to us. And it completely, it's a great conversation, completely turned and changed how we were going to implement that business. But now it's growing, it's you know, it's blossoming, everything's coming together much quicker and in a much more solid way than what it would have been had we tried it our way. But we never would have got there if we would have just sat on the couch and watched DIY shows and just said, yeah, maybe someday that'd be something nice to do. But you have to get up and try some things. And
turn the TV off, turn the phone off, put it away. It's a distraction, and you will go nowhere in life if you choose to live. You have to make the choice, and you have to walk it out. You have to implement what we're telling you. If you don't put it to work and put it to practice, You're going to feel like you're on that tricycle, you're going to be riding, and you're not going to be stationed, you're going to be stuck, you're not going to go anywhere. So you have to apply it, and you have to turn that stuff off to start walking it out.
You can't live in front of the TV. And I say that I love television and movies. I mean, yeah, big bowl of popcorn, sitting in front of the TV and binge watching your favorite series, that's great. But the reality is, if I do that, not only is my health going to suffer, but I'm not going to accomplish anything. So there are sacrifices that you have to make, and entertainment is the first thing off the list. You have to decide, what's priority. Is my vision, is my calling, is my destiny more priority than relaxation and entertainment?
When we used to do that and we'd watch TV, we'd find a series. Nowadays we hardly watch any TV because nothing's redeemable even on. So we even struggle to watch TV now. But when we would sit and watch TV, those were the times that we were most money was running away. Everything was running away from us when those are supposed to be your resources. And they shouldn't be running away from you, but you should learn how to use them properly. And we didn't have that skill. And it's a skill we have learned. But as Luther was saying, in the beginning, we met with a businessman to help, bounce ideas off. So learn from people. So start where you're at and you say, okay, these are some of my areas I have weaknesses. Maybe your marriage is one. Maybe you want to grow with your marriage and it's a weakness. Find a couple you can learn from. There's ministers. There's a lot of things out there you can listen to, books to read. Maybe it's finances. Maybe you know what, God's calling me to be more, more better with that and step it up in that area. So find people you can mentor from. Learn. Take time to learn, because the value of what you bring into your life is going to be you. You can have a big dream in the world, but if you are not the person with the right heart, the right mind, God can't use you. And that dream you have, you will never fulfill that dream. You have to be that person. So you find your weaknesses, you begin to change. Ask God to help you, because He will help you. He will bring in the people. He'll bring in the resources, and He will help you. You've got to be willing to learn. You've got to be teachable. You have to be. It's a principle. Learn. Don't think I've got it all together. Find your weaknesses. I had to learn I was losing control of my health. That's why now I help women, because I lost control of my health. I didn't know how to feed my family in a healthy way. We were all going downhill with our health. All of us. They were gaining weight, and I couldn't control it. It was uncontrollable. So I took the time to learn that were out there, and I applied them. You have to learn, and you have to apply that. So maybe you don't know what your dream is. Maybe this is where you need to start. You need to start with the skill sets. Learn these simple things of life, unfortunately, that a lot of us were never taught as kids. I was never taught how to feed my family. I didn't know how to even eat healthy. So I had to learn. So find an area of weakness that you may want to learn more. And that could become your passion. Out of that could be your business. That could birth your ministry. You never know. But if it's an area God's calling you to step up, find people, learn from them, and don't think I have it all together. Because that's where pride really is, when we think we've got it all together. We don't need anything. God can't use that. He can't use that person with that mindset and that type of a heart.
That's a good thing that you bring up. For us, when we started even thinking about, okay, let's actually do something about this dissatisfaction, about wanting more and trying to figure things out, it's amazing how God just started bringing in people and resources and all this stuff that it was there the whole time.
Yeah.
We just never recognized it. A lot of these people, these weren't people that we, some were, but most of them were people we already knew and already had relationships with. We just weren't pulling on them. We weren't pulling on their gifts and their talents. But once we discovered that, we started pulling on, hey, I know so-and-so, they can help me with this. They can coach me on that, or, they can teach me about this other thing and whatever. But you start pulling all that stuff together, and it just helps you in your walk. But really, the whole message that we're trying to convey is you need to start. So many people, they just sit and they dream and wish and hope, but they never try to stand up. Because I think part of it, is people are afraid to fail. And I have a saying that goes like this: you have to be ready to fail. You have to set it in your mind that I'm going to try something, and if I fail, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of you as a person, right? You just failed. You might fall down. You'll have to get up. But we made our minds up that, look, we're going to have to sacrifice some things, give up some things. We're going to have to restructure our lives in certain areas, and that's tough because that could mean fractured relationships. That could mean just, you might have been involved in this thing and now you're not anymore, and people, they don't kind of understand.
They don't understand it.
And they're just like, they think you lost your mind sometimes.
But you're obligated to God. It's your destiny on your life. We are held accountable. I mean, we're going to be held accountable for what we did with our time. And there was a point, it was really a turning point for us where we had to say, it's time to let go of these things. They were good. We learned, we gleaned from them. We grew a lot through those seasons, but that season was done.
Yeah.
And God called us to shift, and it was very painful because we lost relationships in that. Because a lot of people, they don't understand, and that's okay. It's your process with God. It's walk between you and God. And people just don't understand that. But that's okay. It's your walk. You have to do this. You've got to take those steps and do it.
Yeah. So, like I said, people, I think they're afraid of failure. And you have to really just set it in your mind that if I take one more step and I just fall down and everybody's looking at me, because people are watching, but you can't let that hold you back. You have to stand up. You have to get out there. You have to try some things. And we're not talking about living a life of experimentation. That's kind of a whole different deal. But we're talking about, you've got a vision, you've got a goal, you've got a passion. You need to start taking steps that are going to bring you closer to that, because it's not coming to you. You have to go to it.
One thing that I notice with people, and in my line of work, working with individuals and ladies and stuff, that I see is, I feel like sometimes when we have disappointments in the past and things didn't go the way we thought we would, we give up and we lose hope. And we say, nope, it didn't work for me. I'm not going to try it. Yep. Some people they've done stuff with health. Well, I've tried that. I can't do that. It doesn't work for me. And immediately we'll write everything off. Well, that's not going to work. And there's a lot of hopelessness. There's no vision. There's no faith. And a lot of times, if we're not careful, our past, because of that disappointment, it will stop us and we won't go anywhere in life. And you have to look at that situation and you need to pull from that. Sometimes it's something that maybe we didn't implement. If you're trying something with health and it didn't work out, and maybe it was because we didn't quite walk it out. Maybe we didn't really apply what we were learning. So look at the situation in general. Sometimes it could be finances. Sometimes we get in over our head. We didn't make wise choices, and now we're in debt, and we have to file for bankruptcy. Now, we can use the excuse of it was this, this, and this, or we can say, you know what? I made a mistake. Oops. I need to learn from that. Let's strategize so it doesn't happen again, and move on, and let it be the past. Walk it out, and if you need to, work through some forgiveness, let go of it for yourself. Take it to God. Work through that, because those things will prevent you, and they'll hold you back, and they will kill your dream, and you'll never be satisfied in life. You'll never be there.
Yeah, you don't want to let your past is the past for a reason, and you can't bring your past into your future, right? Mm-hmm. The two are they're not compatible. They're opposed, actually. If you're trying to bring your past, so-and-so hurt me when I was a child, this happened to me, all these things. And, there's a lot of pain with our past. There can be, right? There could be some traumatic things, and we're not trying to minimize that or diminish that in any way. But whatever happened in the past, no matter how painful or how bad it was, if you bring it into your future, you will never get to your destiny.